Hello, this is Jeff Stevens from Oregon.plex. Thank you for being here to have a look at my Plex market report, 2 to 4 unit properties for Portland in April 2026. And in this video, we are going to talk about the Northeast, Southeast, and North areas of Portland and what the numbers look like in those areas. Please hit subscribe and make sure that you always get these videos so that you don't miss any of my upcoming market reports. And of course, if you would like a physical copy, well, I shouldn't say physical, how about a PDF copy, a written version of this? Then just let me know in the comments or send me an email, jeff@oregonplex.com. Let's take a quick look here at the numbers. So the first thing that jumps off the page to me is that March was just 91 listings, but now we're at 121. So that might show kind of the quieter winter and early spring sort of cycles that happen. Because if we look at the middle of the year last year, we had numbers in the 120s, 130s. So we're kind of back to a normal amount of active properties. The days on market are about kind of where they have been. The prices per unit, or the prices total, I should say, are a little bit higher than they have been. So this is about what, $30,000 more than the last time, 80,000 more here. So right now, people are optimistic, I guess I would say, in terms of the overall prices that they are trying to shoot for, maybe hoping that something has changed here in the earlier part of 2026. Let's see. Our average price per unit right now is 311,000, and that is almost exactly price per unit wise what we saw when I did this report about a month ago. So no real change there. $293 per square foot versus 287, very, very close overall. But our average days on market here are at the time of this report 125. So that is, to use a technical term, kind of a lot. I would personally, when I'm involved in listing a property, I want to see it be way, way, way less than that. And that's what I've been seeing with my own listings, been selling properties for my clients, selling properties for myself. And I feel like that number should be much lower if the seller's plan and strategy is on point. Currently, there are 25 pending properties in this category and pending an average price of 722,000, which is more than the average prices as we look back historically over the last at upwards of a year or so. I always like to look at the number of expired, withdrawn, and canceled listings as well, because anybody can list a property for any price and market it in any way. But I feel like this figure helps to show how many of those have just really fallen flat on their faces. And so we have 57 of those in the last 90 days that have been taken off the market for one reason or another. That's very much in line with some of the other numbers of what is normal, but it continues to be a sign of people going out there with what I call a fishing expedition. Let's float it out there. Let's see if we can get somebody to buy it. And then when it doesn't work, they just take it off the market. It's not an earnest attempt to sell the property, is the conclusion I typically come to myself. But it's encouraging when we looked at the closed ones to see we do have 39 closed transactions in this category, um, at an average price per unit of 259,000, which is not varying too much from the results of the successful sales in the last year. So we can see 257,000 a month ago, 272 sometime last year, 268. So the overall numbers are kind of right about the same. And you can see that people are getting these deals closed in 94 days or reaching consensus on an accepted offer in 94 days. So 94 days, a lot better than 125 days, but still kind of a long time in my opinion. So what we're seeing is that if you want to have your property sell, that we need to be realistic, of course, about what the price per square foot would be, the gross rent multiplier. The gross rent multiplier does not show up on this report. That's a custom calculation I do with my clients for their properties. but the price needs to be relative and appropriate for the amount of income that the property brings in and the size of the property. So we also look here at price per square foot. Closed price per square foot is $247 a square foot. Whereas if I look back at my messy writing, it was 293 on the attempt, 247 on the success. So those are some of the details of what's happening on the east side of Portland, including North Portland in the duplex, triplex, and fourplex markets. Be sure to check out my video for the west side and south side of Portland as well. And please subscribe to make sure you see all of these updates. If you like Portland, if you're interested in Central Oregon or any of the other market updates I do. As you know, I do only 2 to 4 unit properties as a buyer and seller's agent because that's what I've built my portfolio largely on. And I love it. It's unique. It's different than houses. If you just do houses all the time, this is going to be a little different for a broker. If somebody who does larger apartment complexes all the time, the 2 to 4 is a unique hybrid. That's why I specialize in it. That's why I love it. If you need to reach me, you know where to find me. All right. See you in the next video.